They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want to.
Come on, hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Hello viewers, you are welcome to yet another exciting episode of Corruption Must Go, a production of the Public Enlightenment Department of ICPC. I am your host, Ruth Awodi. Sexual harassment is bullying, coercion of a sexual nature, or inappropriate promise of rewards in exchange for sexual favors in a workplace or other professional or social situation. It can also involve the making of unwanted sexual advances or obscene remarks. That will be our area of focus on today's program. We shall bring you anti-corruption news from the international scene. Let us first bring you the latest happenings in the world of anti-corruption.
Welcome to today's Tidbit segment. I'm Inatimi Ugoji. The Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, Mr. Tunde Fowler, has expressed the determination of his organization to partner with the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, in the crusade against corruption. Mr. Fowler made the declaration at the inauguration of the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, Act 2, of the organization recently in Abuja. The executive chairman explained that it was the desire of FIRS to support ICPC in the fight against corruption by ensuring that it created systems and structures that would encourage the organization's staff to maintain high ethical standards in their day-to-day duties. The functions performed by staff of this service are very significant. Therefore, all the issues which Act 2 promotes, such as transparency, accountability, and good governance in the public service, are key to the success of an organization like FIRS, which collects revenue for the government, he said.
We thank ICPC for the role they're playing. I'd also like to point out that we in FIRS believe in transparency. We believe in your cause to make sure that we bring corruption to not to a minimum, to eradicate it. Most people tell you that it's impossible for you to have a corrupt-free organization. We believe that it is possible.
The chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, Mr. Epo Unta, has declared that ethics and values are very essential for the fight against corruption to succeed in Nigeria. He made the declaration recently while playing host to the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, NOA, Dr. Garba Albari, who was at the ICPC on a courtesy call.
The importance of our visit to this very important and strategic agency cannot therefore be overemphasized. We are here to partner, to cooperate, to learn from your experiences as an anti-corruption enforcer, as an corruption preventer, and of course to also learn from the strategies that we have been putting in place so that it will reach what we are doing at our end. Mr. Chairman, sir, you will agree with me that the bane of this country, our national development, has been corruption, and it has been stated time and again. But it is something which manifests at all levels. We have grand corruption, which has become so corrosive, has affected and stunted our growth as a nation, as a people. We have retail corruption, which has afflicted almost all of our citizens, whether in the marketplace, whether in the schools, whether in the motor park, or on the street. All manner of malfeasance and unwholesome behavior which constitute an act of corruption actually confront us each and every day of our lives.
Mr. Nta revealed to the DG and his entourage that ICPC has submitted a draft national policy on ethics and integrity to the Attorney General of the Federation, and he hoped that when approved by the Federal Executive Council, it would form the foundation on which future anti-corruption strategies would be built.
And if you remove the ethical and integrity factor from the anti-corruption agency assignment, then you might actually be missing the taproot of what is driving corruption. And that's what we have always tried to address. Like you rightly pointed out, we have a national values curriculum at the basic school level, which had come into place since 2007, and it's taught in various subjects, all pointing towards the issues you raised: honesty, patriotism, and the issues. And that brings me to the issue of reward system in our country.
Sexual harassment is immoral and unlawful. It threatens the victim's job security, affects their performance, and eventually hinders effectiveness at work. We went out to find out the views of Nigerians on this evil, and here is what they had to say.
It's a very alarming issue in this country and in the continent and the globe as well. Okay, a guy, he's in prison now. He's in Kuje prison now. Okay, he dosed up of drugs. Okay, and two girls that just packed into his compound today, the same day in the night, he came in with a gun, to rape them. Unfortunately for him, after raping them, when he was going out, one of the tenants saw him.
It's the way the women dress. Some women dress half naked, and most of the men cannot endure it. Even you will see a woman in her house, her sister, she stay with her sister, and her sister will wear short knicker, and that the husband is there, or the way, all what I believe sometimes the way women dress, we have to adjust and dress neat and dress responsible.
Harassment, by my own understanding, is that unduly act to someone without his consent. Actually, I've not been totally harassed, but I've been seeing a couple of cases within my environment and my neighborhood on issue of sexual harassment. There back in 2007, I had a neighbor who worked in the federal government ministry, though I will not mention his name because of certain legal to it. Yes, he harassed a little girl of about 3 years, and it took 1 month for the mother to notice, because the little girl, it was the house girl that was beating the little girl, so it took time for the mom to find out that the girl has issues on her private part, and from there they asked and he said, "Uncle."
Sexual harassment, I believe, is when a guy or a lady is abused sexually. So most people think sexual harassment only happens to females, but most times guys also fall victims. For instance, like most schools where it's a girls' school and security men in some school are abused. I have a case where in Duse government girls secondary school do say, where the girls raped a security man to death. So I believe sexual harassment has to do with when a guy is abused and the ladies couldn't control their sexual urge.
Okay, so now that you've shared this experience with us, what advice can you give to people that have been harassed sexually?
Well, I believe most times the government don't even help matters, because when such cases go to court, they just buy it off, and they don't follow the matter to the end. They just believe some, because of their wealth, and they just use money to buy the case over. My advice is, when such thing happen, they have agencies like Human Rights Commission where you can go and lay your complaints. Then from there, I believe they'll pick it up from there.
It's not only women that are being harassed. Women also harass men sexually, you understand? Because I know my daughter, for instance, when she was looking for admission at the University of Abuja, I could remember that somebody offered to assist. But at the end of the whole thing, the man, he gave my daughter condition when she was going, that he wanted to take her out. That after that, my daughter said, okay, but this is too early. Let us do what we have come. He said, no, if I assist you now, you get this admission. Tomorrow you become another thing. You understand? So lecturers in the university, you understand? So you see the way a female student will not pass your paper because she did not allow you to sleep with him. You understand? So it is even in our government offices. You understand? In agencies, corporate organizations, everybody that finds himself, it is just very few, a very little percentage of people that find themselves in position in office that can assist, especially women, without asking for anything after that assistance. So it is something we have to pray to God. It is something that God has to help us, and it is something that is spreading widely, like Hamatan fire. It is going almost round.
So what advice do you have for people that have been harassed?
Now the advice I have is people, especially women. People say you use what you have to get what you want. It is a very wrong distance for women, because I see girls, they say, if actually this man will help me do this, and who am I will yield myself. So we have to change, because we have to have integrity, we have to have personality, we have to have name, and remember our family background, where we are coming from. So when we have all these things at the back of our mind, and you discover, if you are a Christian, you know actually that no man can help you, it's only God can help you. What belongs to you belongs to you. What God has ordained you, destined you to be in life is what you be. No matter how you go around shortcut to get it, even if you get it, that it is temporary, it is not permanent. So they should believe that no man will help them. If God said that you are getting a job, you are going to be in so place or position, definitely it may delay, but you get to that. So not giving up yourself for.
Thank you so much.
Sexual harassment is a type of corrupt conduct, an abuse of office that is prohibited under sections 8, 10 and 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. Mr. Ebenezer Shogunle of the Legal Department of ICPC educates us more on this.
Sexual harassment is any kind of unwelcome, unwarranted, friendly gesture between people of the opposite sex. Usually, it is an instance where somebody, possibly in authority, it could be either in the workplace, in the office, in a learning environment, in an academic community, or generally in society, makes overtures of a sexual nature to the other person, who very clearly communicates that such an overture is unwanted, is unsolicited, and therefore unacceptable. But the person making the overture persists in doing so. That clearly is what constitutes sexual harassment. Sexual harassment falls under the ICPC Act because it's a form of corrupt practice. Of recent, we have received quite a number of petitions, complaints from people who have been sexually harassed. It is clear that at the moment the National Assembly of Nigeria is at a very advanced stage in the enactment of a law that is explicitly directed at checking sexual harassment in academic communities. But under the ICPC Act, you will find that gratification is defined to include benefit of any kind. So it doesn't have to be in monetary terms or something that is tangible. And you find, especially in the workplace, that people having superior authority have been known, or we have received petitions of instances where people in a supervisory role over their subordinates have been known to make the workplace hostile to their subordinates as a result of persistent demand for some form of sexual favors. And so, under the ICPC Act, specifically, if you look at sections 8, sections 10, and 19, it's a form of corrupt demand for gratification and abuse of office. And that is the way we have been treating it. ICPC has done quite a lot and is also doing quite a lot in creating the enabling environment to prevent instances of sexual harassment. One of the things that the ICPC has done came out as a result of the university system study review activity that was conducted in the year 2011. In the course of that review, ICPC operatives were dispatched to about 6 different universities across the Federation. And the report of their study highlighted, amongst many other problems, incidences of sexual harassment by lecturers on students for the purposes of awarding grades or marks. Of course, examples also abound where students themselves entrap some of these lecturers for the same purpose. As a fallout of that study, the management of ICPC engaged the authorities of some of these universities. And as a result, some of them have been encouraged to develop a sexual harassment policy, which has been made available. Some of it has been published on the websites of some of the universities. Pamphlets have been produced to enlighten the students that you don't have to keep quiet when you are facing these kinds of challenges. You have opportunities to speak out. There are confidential lines that have been opened up so that you can complain, and the authorities concerned will do the needful towards apprehending those who are engaged in this. The ICPC management has also opened a channel to engage even the student union bodies, so that even among the students themselves, due to peer influence, you can create the same awareness and bring pressure to bear on university administrators or lecturers who engage in such activities. And then in the workplace, because you have also instances where superior officers have been known to bring on unnecessary pressure on their subordinates. It could be the male, it could be the female, in exchange for promotion, in exchange for training opportunities, in exchange for posting opportunities, favorable posting opportunities, and as well in exchange for contracts. We have opened up dialogue with a number of MDAs, where the ICPC Academy, the ICPC Education Department have been organizing series of lectures and creating the same awareness that one, sexual harassment is a prohibitive conduct. Two, anybody who is facing the challenge of sexual harassment has opportunities, has channels of reporting, and that anybody who is involved in that, who is apprehended, will be thoroughly investigated and prosecuted.
Now you know that if you are being sexually harassed, you can report to the authorities of your organization, school, or even ICPC. Here is our correspondent, Robert Ayapat, with anti-corruption news from the international scene.
The 17th International Anti-Corruption Conference with the theme Time for Justice, Equity, Security and Trust concluded on Monday, 5th December 2016 in Panama City with a call for people all over the world to come together with activists, governments, businesses and the media to defeat corrupt people and hold them to account. The final declaration at the conference proclaimed, "The time for action is now. We must partner with all anti-corruption champions and well-minded businesses. Together, we will strengthen our web of anti-corruption activists. Together, the public sector, businesses and civil society will hold the corrupt to account." Jose Ugaz, chairman of Transparency International, said, "The anti-corruption movement is part of the global partnership to support the values of integrity and honesty in a world that is turning its back on truth. We need to expose the illegal networks that enable grand corruption and illicit wealth, and also allow the corrupt people to enjoy the benefits of crime." The 18th International Anti-Corruption Conference will be held in 2018 at Copenhagen, Denmark.
We must all join hands to fight this scourge in our society. Remember, you can send your petition to any of our offices near you or via email to info@icpc.gov.ng. You can also follow us on any of our social media platforms as shown on the screen. Your messages, suggestions, and complaints are welcome through our smart number 0800 Call ICPC. We have come to the end of the program. See you again, same time, same station, next week. Thank you for watching.